Imagine you're running a small business. You've poured your heart and soul into it, spent countless nights awake, and sacrificed weekends, all in the hope of building something meaningful. But then, out of nowhere, you start to notice the signs. Sales are slipping, expenses are creeping up, and suddenly, you find yourself in a situation that feels like a death spiral. You might be wondering, what does that even mean? Let's break it down. A death spiral in business is not just a catchy phrase. It's a real phenomenon that can happen to companies of any size and in any industry. It refers to a downward spiral of negative events that can lead to a company's eventual failure. Picture this. It all starts with a problem, maybe declining sales or increasing costs. At first, it seems manageable, but if not addressed promptly, it spirals out of control. One issue leads to another, creating a vicious cycle that can seem impossible to escape. So, why do companies find themselves in this predicament? One major reason is a lack of innovation. Think about it. If your product or service becomes obsolete and you don't adapt, you're going to struggle. Look at companies like Blockbuster, which failed to pivot in the face of streaming services. They had the chance to innovate, but chose to stick with their outdated model, and we all know how that ended. Another culprit is poor strategic planning. If you're too reliant on a single customer or market, you're setting yourself up for trouble. Imagine a company that relies heavily on a specific retailer for sales. If that retailer faces a downturn, where does that leave the company? Scrambling to find new customers, that's where. Financial mismanagement is another key factor. If you're not keeping a close eye on your finances, you could quickly find yourself in a cash crunch, spending more than you earn, accumulating debt without a clear plan to pay it off. These are all pathways to disaster. Now, let's illustrate this with a hypothetical scenario. Picture a small retail store that sells handmade crafts and jewelry. This store has a loyal customer base, but it starts to struggle against larger retailers and online marketplaces. Instead of innovating, maybe by enhancing their online presence or diversifying their product line, the owner decides to cut inventory to save costs. This leads to less variety, fewer customers, and ultimately, even lower sales. As revenue continues to drop, the owner lays off staff to cut costs further. But with fewer employees, customer service suffers, and the quality of the products declines. The owner then tries to attract customers with discounts, but this only cuts into profits more deeply. Eventually, the owner takes out a high-interest loan to cover expenses, and the cycle continues. The store can't recover and ultimately closes its doors. This is a classic example of a death spiral in action. So, how can a company identify if it's in a death spiral? There are some telltale signs. First, look for declining revenue. If your sales are consistently down, it's a major red flag. Second, increasing expenses can signal that you're not managing your finances effectively. Third, if you're losing market share to competitors, it's time to reassess your strategy. Another sign is high levels of debt. If you're struggling to manage your obligations, you're in a precarious position. Negative cash flow is another indicator. If you're spending more than you're bringing in, you're in trouble. And let's not forget about employee turnover. High turnover can indicate internal issues that need addressing. Now, let's talk about the factors that contribute to a death spiral. Poor management is a leading cause. If your leadership team lacks experience or direction, you're setting the stage for failure. A lack of innovation can also be detrimental. Companies that fail to adapt to market changes can quickly fall behind. High debt levels can create financial instability, and declining revenues are often the first sign of trouble. Poor financial management, failure to anticipate risks, and a lack of planning can all contribute to a downward spiral. So, when should a company consider restructuring? If you're facing declining revenue, increased competition, or high debt levels, it may be time to rethink your approach. Restructuring can help you cut costs, improve efficiency, and stabilize your finances. Stakeholders are also significantly affected by a death spiral. Employees may face layoffs, reduced morale, and uncertainty about their future. Shareholders see their investments dwindle, and creditors may suffer losses if debts go unpaid. Suppliers might face delayed payments, impacting their own operations. The local community feels the effects too, with job losses and reduced economic activity. Now, what can a company's leadership team do to prevent a death spiral? First, they need to monitor financial performance closely. Regularly reviewing cash flow, profitability, and expenses can help identify issues early. Focusing on revenue growth is essential, whether through new markets, products, or improved sales efforts. Cutting costs where possible is also crucial. This doesn't mean slashing budgets indiscriminately, but rather identifying areas where you can operate more efficiently. Effective communication is key. Stakeholders need to know the financial situation and the steps being taken to address it. Implementing a crisis management plan can help a company respond quickly to unforeseen events. Building a strong corporate culture fosters loyalty and productivity, which can be invaluable during tough times. Seeking professional advice can provide insights and strategies that may not be immediately apparent. Investing in technology and innovation is vital for staying competitive. Long-term strategies that focus on sustainability and growth can help a company weather storms. Now, let's discuss the role of accounting in preventing a death spiral. Accurate financial reporting is essential for understanding a company's performance. Budgeting and forecasting help in planning for the future, while cost management identifies inefficiencies. Cash management ensures that a company has enough liquidity to meet its obligations. Risk management strategies can mitigate potential threats, and compliance with financial regulations prevents legal issues. Finally, financial analysis helps identify trends and opportunities for growth. If a company finds itself in a death spiral, what are some successful strategies for recovery? Cutting costs is often the first step. Companies should carefully analyze their expenses and identify where they can save money. Rebuilding trust with stakeholders is crucial. Transparency about financial performance can help restore confidence. Refocusing on core competencies allows a company to leverage its strengths and differentiate itself from competitors. Developing a strong strategic plan that outlines a clear path to profitability is essential. Investing in innovation keeps a company relevant and competitive. Seeking professional help can guide the recovery process, and effective communication keeps all stakeholders informed. Implementing strong financial controls ensures that all expenses are justified and accounted for accurately. Finally, focusing on cash flow is critical. Generating cash flow through increased sales and effective working capital management can help stabilize finances. And let's not forget the power of a positive attitude. It can be a long and challenging journey to recover from a death spiral, but maintaining optimism can inspire the entire team. In conclusion, a death spiral is a serious threat to any business, but it's not inevitable. By being proactive, monitoring financial health, and making informed decisions, companies can avoid falling into this trap. Remember, a death spiral can happen to anyone, but with vigilance and strategic planning, you can steer clear of the dangers and pave the way for success. So keep your eyes open, adapt to change, and never lose sight of your vision. Your business deserves it.